Well, hey there, Renova Church. Fall has definitely arrived. And with the arrival of this new season, we also enter into one of my favorite seasons in the life of our church, and that is our Missions Emphasis season. Over the coming 3 weeks, we're going to spend our time together celebrating and learning about the ways in which God has used your time, treasure, and talent to take the good news of what God has done in Jesus for us to the world. We're going to be focusing on local, international, and national partners that we have around the whole earth that are using the gifts that you give to tell the world about the hope of Jesus Christ. Today, as we begin our Missions Emphasis season, we begin by celebrating the local partners in our local cities that God is uniting our campuses' hearts with to take the good news of what God has done for us in Jesus to the cities where He has planted our campuses. I hope you are inspired and moved by the stories.
I know that it is important for every single person on this planet to hear the message of Christ, regardless of where they come from and how they learn.
I think about 1 Corinthians 12, where Paul writes that if a hand or an eye or a foot says that it's not part of the body, then the body's not whole. We need to be sure that all the parts of the body are included.
They're the same as anybody else. They have the same hopes, dreams, but they have way less opportunities to engage in those. Jesus isn't just a person for able-bodied people. He's for all people. He hasn't forgotten you. Your disability does not disqualify you from Jesus. It's a choice to enter their world in all that they experience, but then to lead them out into new adventures, into new relationships. Capernaum is the place where the first answer kids hear is yes.
It's an empty van up on Liberty Street, and it had been raining real hard that night I was in the van. And when I raised up out of that van that morning and looked in that rearview mirror, I ain't like what I see.
I came from a broken marriage and moved here to get away. I was out here brokenhearted, lonely, scared, hungry, didn't know what to do or where to go.
If it weren't for the sponsors and the volunteers, there'd be no Samaritan. They go out of their way to help these guys. They give them something to eat, they give them a place to lay their head. You help them change people's lives.
Samaritan is really good for people. It helps us be better. And it keeps us full, and that's God's will. It's His will that we be fed. Because He's gonna ask somebody one day, did you feed me? Did you give me a shelter? And this place does all of that.
Our mission at the Bethesda Center is to take people from homelessness into a more independent lifestyle. Last year, we moved 110 households, people into homes, representing 165 people who moved from the homeless shelter into their own apartments. We are so grateful when people decide to donate money and supplies, furniture for the new households. We depend on the donations of corporations and individuals.
It is so easy to see people standing outside with a sign and that innate generosity of, I got $2 extra, let me hand it to them. But that's not happening. Because tomorrow morning or next 2 days from now, they're going to be still standing on that corner. Giving to the Bethesda Center and organizations like that puts the money to real, tangible use.
What if we could find ways that we could work collaboratively, that we could align our efforts and pool our resources in ways for greater impact? In 2008, we started to call that very question of what would happen if we took all of our own individual efforts, the many wonderful things that churches and organizations were doing, and begin to think about how they might have a collective impact. And that one thing became Christmas for the City. That began a series of collaborations that eventually became Love Out Loud. In Love Out Loud, it's our desire to respond to the activity of God, to look around us and just see where God's at work and to go there. Love Out Loud is all about responding. And we do that simply by connecting people and resources to release the radical love of Jesus right here in our city. We have yet to realize all the dreams and plans that God has laid out for us in these next few years. Would you also respond to that and together help us to love out loud?
I love the ways that God has called our church to have a unique presence in unique cities. And I'm thankful for the ways in which you believe in us being a blessing to our cities. As we move into this season, I hope you'll find ways to partner with us in new ways. Believe for giving in the new year. Help us be generous to kids around the globe and find a way to be a blessing in the city that God has called you to serve and love. I'm so thankful for Renolda Church. I hope you have a great weekend.